Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is the verbatim federal courtroom testimony of the Sean Diddy Combs trial as reported by Inner City Press and other accredited court reporters. By day 9 of the trial, many shocking things had already happened one after another. First, Ashton Kutcher shared his strong feelings. Then, a very shocking video showed that more than just famous people were involved. But no one, not even the people who watch court cases all the time, knew what would happen after the afternoon break. The courtroom felt very tense. The lawyers trying to prove Diddy guilty had been whispering quickly with government investigators all morning. They were very focused on a sealed bag of evidence. This bag was given to them the night before because of a special urgent request. At 2:05 in the afternoon, a lawyer named Ada Kelcease Monroe stood up. She asked for rules about what the news could show for the next part of the trial. She said it was because it could really hurt the reputation of someone who was not on trial. Judge Miriam Reyes thought about it and then agreed to some of it. The public could stay, but no one could record videos and artists had to stop drawing pictures of what was happening in real time. Then, Ms. Monroe went to the judge's desk. She gave the judge a USB drive, a small stick for storing computer files. She said 6 words that made everyone in the courthouse feel very different and tense. This involves Kylie Jenner. Someone in the background said, "Key Jenner? How do you know about Kylie? Key is just like my other self." The judge said, "Your Honor." People gasped. You could hear they were confused. Diddy's lawyers, Benny's lawyers, immediately stood up. One lawyer, Hastings, shouted, "We object. This has nothing to do with the case. It's unfair. And it's clearly not what we are supposed to be talking about," Judge Reyes snapped, her eyes looking hard at the USB drive she was now holding tightly. "Sit down. If this is what I think it is, we are not just talking about the main subject anymore. We are in a big crisis." The big screen turned on. The lights in the courtroom went dim. A video started to play. It had no sound. It showed the date and time it was recorded and had a mark from a computer evidence department. The video showed a hallway inside Diddy's big house in Holmby Hills. The time on the video was September 2nd, 11:42 at night. A person who looked familiar appeared on the screen. It was Kylie Jenner. She was wearing a red robe and no shoes. An unknown woman dressed in black was leading her down a narrow, dark hallway. The woman was holding Kylie's wrist. Kylie was not smiling. The robe looked too big for her. Her makeup was messy. She looked confused and unsure where she was. In the top corner of the video, there was a gold sign that said, "East Wing, Restricted Area." Everyone watching in the courtroom became completely quiet. The video stopped. Diddy suddenly stood up. "No! Hell no! That's fake! That's not what happened!" he shouted. A folder with his notes flew off the defense table. 2 security guards moved towards him. Judge Reyes hit her gavel, small hammer, hard. "Mr. Combs, sit down." But Diddy didn't move. "Are you trying to ruin me with this? She came to the house. She drank the wine. Nobody made her stay." "Take the defendant out," the judge said calmly. In a few seconds, 2 officers were beside him. But Diddy screamed again. This time, he wasn't yelling at the court, but to himself. "They got the video! How did they get that video?" As they took him out, he kept muttering, "Not her. Not that night. We erased it. I made them erase it." Someone in the background says, "Yes, I'm listening. I'm listening. Kylie, what's up? I love you guys." Someone else says, "Love you too. How's everything?" Then, "I'm listening and I'm supporting. I love you guys. Doing it is important. I like how you spoke up, when the important government doctor criticized you. That's how..." The jury, the group of people who decide if he's guilty, stared, looking shocked. Some of them looked very upset. One juror was trying not to cry when the door slammed shut after Diddy was taken out. Ms. Monroe started speaking again. This video was taken directly from the same external hard drive, a computer storage device, that was shown as evidence earlier this week. The FBI found it when they searched Mr. Combs's Holmby Hills house. Information hidden in the file confirms the video's time, the camera it came from inside the house, and that its location matches the house's own computer system. Judge Reyes nodded slowly. "And the person in the video has been confirmed to be Miss Jenner?" "Yes, Your Honor," Ms. Monroe replied. We used face-matching technology, dated visual records, and other supporting information from the house's guest records. Next, they showed a second group of photo evidence. These were casual photos of Kylie in the house's west garden earlier that same night. She was sipping from a gold cup, alone, and facing away from the camera. Then, another photo. This time, it was inside a place that many people who saw it, including Cassie Ventura, called the Red Room area. Kylie was sitting on a low seat next to a wall made of mirrors. The room was lit with red light. A curtain was partly open, showing someone behind her, a tall man wearing a chain with a noticeable diamond cross. Ada Monroe didn't say who the man was. She didn't need to. Everyone in the courtroom already knew. But what really changed everything wasn't the video. It was a handwritten logbook. This logbook, which listed events, was found just 36 hours before by a computer evidence expert and was presented with the USB drive. A page in the logbook for September 2, 2019, listed guests' initials when they arrived and special instructions. One line said, KJ, handle with Dawn, no front camera. Another line said, confirm NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, a promise not to talk, pulled before drink, East Wing only, no staying overnight. There were no last names, no full explanations, just secret instructions. When asked how they knew this logbook was real, Ms. Monroe answered, the handwriting matches an employee named Cassandra M. She used to be Mr. Combs's scheduling assistant. We officially ordered her to come to court last week, and she will give her full story soon. And there was still more. Ms. Monroe showed a text message conversation from a secret phone app. It was taken from a backup of a phone belonging to one of Diddy's assistants. A message from someone with initials SC read, KJ is in the tunnel. Get her out before the morning workers arrive. The room froze. The tunnel was a term now well known because of very serious and disturbing accusations. One juror gasped loudly. The judge called for a short break, but no one got up from their seats. Outside, news trucks were loudly reporting the words on live TV, Kylie Jenner footage shown on day 9 of Diddy trial. And inside the courtroom, the feeling was changing very quickly. When court started again, Ada Monroe didn't show more video. She didn't have to. She simply said, we plan to call Miss Jenner as a very important witness. An official order for her to come to court is being prepared. That was the moment the courtroom really fell apart. Kylie Jenner, a billionaire, a huge social media star, a mother, was no longer just someone mentioned. She was now at the center of the case. When Diddy came back into the courtroom, he looked very shaken and was quiet. He refused to look at the screen. He just stared at the floor, grinding his teeth, and one hand was clenched into a fist so tightly that his knuckles were white. The judge turned to Diddy's lawyers. Mr. Hastings, I suggest you get your client ready for questions from the prosecution. Hastings nodded, but he looked tired and defeated, like he knew the terrible situation they tried to hide had finally come out. And this time, they couldn't try to make it sound like something else. Because this wasn't just gossip. It was surveillance video, written proof, people who saw things. And now, Kylie Jenner. And day 9 of Diddy's trial would always be remembered as the moment when the fancy world of Hollywood celebrities met the very dark and secret Red Room. And nothing in Hollywood would ever be the same again. Day 9 of the government's trial against Sean Diddy Combs had already shocked everyone on the internet before 3 p.m. But what happened in the hours after the Kylie Jenner video was leaked would send huge legal shockwaves through the courtroom and affect every part of the entertainment business. After court started again, Judge Miriam Reyes made an official rule to protect several new pieces of digital evidence. This showed everyone there that more than just pictures and unclear hallway videos were coming. This was about who had control, who could see things, and what Diddy planned to do. Diddy sat frozen at the table for the person on trial. He looked defeated. His knuckles were white as he gripped the edge of the table, like it was the only thing keeping him connected to reality. His lawyers whispered to him urgently, but Diddy didn't look at them. He was staring straight ahead. His eyes were red, and he looked very shaken since the court confirmed that Kylie Jenner was not only filmed at his Holmby Hills house, but that her presence was deliberately hidden. They did this by leaving her out of guest lists, changing camera angles, and even by not telling staff about her. And now, with court back in session, Ada Monroe was being very direct and tough. Your Honor, she said, We want to show a recovered internal video message from the House's surveillance review team. It was recorded 3 days after the event on September 2nd. The judge looked at the request, nodded, and said okay. The screen turned on. A computer login screen appeared, then a play button. The video was shaky but clear. It was taken with a handheld phone and focused on a desk with 3 computer screens showing different surveillance camera views. A man's voice not seen on camera said, "The video from September 2nd needs to be cleaned up." KJ was seen. Room 4C, the hallway loop, and the east entrance need to be renamed. Dawn signed it off. Confirm. Secret shadow information cleared. Ms. Monroe paused the video. She turned to the witness who was now speaking in court. Special Agent Dana Trillo. Agent Trillo was the same FBI expert who had confirmed the earlier video was real. Agent Trillo, who made this video? Ms. Monroe asked. It was found in a deleted folder on a storage device seized during the search of the Holmby Hills house. Agent Trillo said. Internal papers suggest the voice belongs to one of Combs's private security camera analysts. We are keeping his name secret because he is part of an ongoing investigation. And what does scrubbing mean in this situation? Ms. Monroe asked. It means deleting, changing, or purposely mislabeling security video to hide it from legal investigations or internal checks, Agent Trillo answered. So, the defendant, Diddy, had a system to change and hide surveillance evidence? Yes, she answered. And Miss Jenner's presence was specifically marked as video that needed to be erased. A quiet murmur went through the courtroom. What this meant was terrible. This wasn't just about Kylie being accidentally filmed. This was about a planned effort to hide that she was there and any digital clues connected to her. And it got worse. Ms. Monroe showed an email conversation between members of Diddy's staff and her, Kylie's staff. It was found in a secret email account that was later officially ordered to be opened and read. The subject of the email was, Clean Up September 2nd Plan. One email read, Confirmed KJ was brought by D. Red Wine was served. She said the NDA, non-disclosure agreement, was not signed. She left around 2:18 a.m. The room was reset. And under that, a line in red letters, Do not mention her in the weekly report. The courtroom audience gasped. Judge Reyes squinted at the paper, reading the last line again before looking straight at Diddy's lawyers. Mr. Hastings, do you disagree that this message is real? Hastings stood up slowly. His voice was quiet. We still have the right to question how this evidence was handled. But right now, no. That's when Ms. Monroe made her next big move. Your Honor, we request that Ms. Jenner be officially named as a very important witness. We have submitted an urgent request for an official order for her to come to court through the district court clerk's office. That was the moment everything changed. The people watching gasped. The jury members sat up straighter. Kylie Jenner, one of the most protected famous people in the world, was no longer just a name on a guest list in the background. She was a witness, maybe even a victim. Someone in the background says, anything that I can do to help, I'm willing. And honestly, I have the best doctor in Beverly Hills who has really helped me, just figure out, the best possible things. What really needs to be done. Her presence now needed a legal investigation, protection from the government, and the full process of the court. Diddy slammed his fist on the table. No, you don't get to do this. You don't drag her in here. The judge shouted over him, Mr. Combs, you are once again behaving badly. But Diddy was quickly losing control. She came to me, I didn't force her, that's not my fault, he yelled, his voice cracking. The court guards took a step forward, but Ms. Monroe didn't flinch. With all due respect, Your Honor, she said, the defendant's outburst proves our theory. He knows the evidence is true. The judge ordered a short break, not just for court rules, but because no one in the room could catch their breath. When they came back, Ms. Monroe called a former event operations assistant, Valerie Kemp, to testify. Valerie looked very shaken and was holding a tissue, but her voice didn't shake when Ms. Monroe asked her if she ever saw Kylie Jenner at the mansion. Yes, she said. That night, I saw her with Dawn. She looked lost. I asked if she needed anything, and Dawn told me to go back to the kitchen. Had you seen Dawn do this before with other guests? Yes, many times. But that was the only time I recognized the guest before she was brought in. And how did Kylie look? Valerie's face showed confusion. confused like she wasn't sure why she was there. Diddy's lawyers tried to object. They said it was just guessing and didn't show a continuous event. But Judge Reyes disagreed. "He's not describing a crime," she said. "He's describing the system." Ms. Monroe continued. "Are you saying the video was edited as it was happening?" "No," Travis said. "I'm saying the cameras were designed to stop recording during important moments. What you see is who comes in, and then it cuts, so you never see what happens inside." He paused. "It was done on purpose. Every camera feed had points where it would fail, except for the cameras recording for the library. Those were private." At this point, the prosecution showed forensic reports. These reports showed that over 19 terabytes of surveillance video, a huge amount of data, had been scrubbed or erased from Diddy's internal system in the 48 hours after the government raids in 2023. But the files related to September 2nd, Ms. Monroe said, were never touched. "Why?" she asked, letting the question hang in the air. "Because this was leverage. Kylie wasn't just another celebrity in the mansion, she was insurance." The room felt a chill. You could see people realizing, right at that moment, that a woman worth nearly $1 billion, one of the most followed people on Earth, had been recorded inside a private event without her permission, and that the video had been deliberately kept secret, stored, and possibly used as a threat. It wasn't just a scandal. It was a plan. Someone says, "Now, what time would your party start?" Ms. Monroe then turned the jury's attention to audio recovered from a private, secure messaging server. One clip, 16 seconds long, was made clearer by the FBI's audio experts. You could hear a woman's voice, believed to be Dawn, say, "Put her in the mirror wing. Tell Sean she'll only stay till 2. She's not into it." A man's voice responds, "She's not supposed to be. She's just for image. Don't let her leave with anyone." The lights in the courtroom came back on. You could hear jurors breathing quickly and shallowly. The judge called for a water break. Everyone knew what was coming next, but no one was ready for the voice recording that followed. This one was from a phone backup found on a disposable burner phone seized at Diddy's Miami house. The voice was clearly his. The date matched the night after the party. Diddy's voice said, "We keep her off the main surveillance system. No social media posts, no one sees her. If she talks, we'll bury it with unimportant news. Send roses, get Kris on the phone." The meaning was clear. Kris Jenner, Kylie's mother, had been told. The room erupted in noise. Diddy's team tried to object, calling it information that wasn't allowed because it was something heard from someone else, hearsay. The judge didn't remove it. She only said, "It will be considered appropriately." And in that moment, the Kardashian family's powerful influence was suddenly pulled into the courtroom, not as people who saw something, but as people who might have controlled information. Ada Monroe knew it. She closed her binder slowly and delivered her final powerful point. "Ladies and gentlemen, this was not a party," she repeated. It was a carefully planned and documented system to gain influence and trap people. And Kylie Jenner wasn't a guest. She was a pawn, a valuable person used for her image to protect something much darker happening behind the scenes. Diddy had come back into the courtroom silent this time. No outbursts, no words, just a hard, emotionless face. But when the judge announced that the prosecution was working with Jenner's lawyers to schedule her to give testimony in private, someone says, "Right now? So that was just really important to me to help, so..." Diddy's jaw muscle visibly tightened. He whispered something to his lawyer. The lawyer didn't answer. Ms. Monroe's final statement was simple. "She's ready to speak." The court took a break. Outside, the media exploded with news. CNN, BBC, TMZ, even international news channels that usually cover politics were now reporting it. "Kylie to testify," the headline screamed. "Diddy meltdown as Jenner files confirmed in freak-off folder." And back inside, as court officials started setting up special rules for Kylie's future appearance, there was one question left that no one dared to say out loud. If someone as powerful, rich, and protected as Kylie Jenner could be dragged through the secret, dark parts of that house, what could happen to anyone else? The text at the end says, "Clicking now on screen, you have other videos about the case. Check them out if you enjoy this one."